Bad dreams, huh? It's just that you were shouting in your sleep, loud, and not in a good, this is private way either. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a blight. I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure looks like one. But yes, that's the Archdemon. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me too. I screamed like a little girl. Duncan said he thought I had someone in my room. Not embarrassing at all. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Ah, it's good to see you. Now, before you say anything, I do recall that your business... I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes? Wonderful. Thank the gentleman, won't you, boy?
Thank you, sir.
We won't be a bother to you and your companions, I assure you. If there's anything I can do for you, please tell... Well, if you're really interested, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to tell you. I'm originally from Orzammar, just as you are, I suspect. You don't have the look of a surface dwarf about you. I was a merchant there, too. Merchant caste. These things are in the blood, you know. You can't just leave them behind. I ran a fairly successful business. Rare artifacts, you know. Old things, grand things. The nobles loved them. Reminded them of the lost glory days, I suppose. So, as I said, things were going well. But good things must come to an end. One day, a noble woman came to my store. She looked around for a bit and then started shrieking in dismay. Apparently, she believed that a pair of braces I had for sale once belonged to her brother. He'd been lost in a cave-in, you see, while on an expedition to clear out the Darkspawn from one of the tunnels running close to the city. They were made specially for him. They're unique, she shrieked. He stole them from my poor brother's corpse. She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that. Well, I didn't steal them. You see, I'd been paying these castless thugs to venture out into the deep roads for me. The lost tides, they're full of things that people left behind. Sometimes you can find a treasure, something worth a little gold. To the nobles it is. They believe everything in the Tigers belongs to the house that once dwelled there, even if it's in ruins and they haven't seen it in generations. The noblewoman, she wasn't too happy with the theft of her brother's braces. I don't know what they planned for me, and I bribed the guard that was watching me and took off for the surface first opportunity I got. Never looked back. I thank the stone every... Now, is there anything the boy or I can get you? Look, we don't rob people, all right? The things in the Lost Tide, it's not all that different up here. There are places long abandoned by the humans everywhere. Don't get all indignant with me. People flee from the Blight with good reason, but they forget things. And sometimes, my boy and I, we find our way to these places before the Horde descends, and we... Is that so bad? They destroy everything they touch. That's what I tell myself, too. Ah, these are dark times indeed. I'm...
Hello.
The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas. He can fold lyrium into... And there you have it. You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along. Ah, yeah. I'm married to a fine woman back in Denerim, it's true. She'd give me a son if she could, but... Sandal here... I found him in the deep roads years ago. Abandoned, I think. And he was never quite right in the head. I took him in, and I brought him with me when I came here to the surface. He may not be my blood, true, but I think of him as one.
We left all...
That's right, boy. Maybe one day we'll see it again. That's how I've always felt. It's not as if I don't benefit, mind you. Turns out the boy's a natural working with enchantment. He might have even been lyrium-addled. I never thought of that before, to be... He can work an enchantment into just about anything, however, given some time. Could probably open his own shop.
Enchantment.
Well, he does seem to enjoy it, at least. Are you sure I can't... It's not just darkspawn in the hordes, you know that? I heard tell of a man meeting his own brother on the field, yet when he called out to him, his brother didn't even recognize him and just attacked. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is. I hear that Tyr Loghain, the regent, is calling for new levies of troops. He wants to rebuild the army. Thing is, there's not a lot of spare men to be found. Out of Dragon's Peak, there's press gangs roaming around, grabbing any free man they can lay their hands on. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is. I hear news from Denerim that Tyr Loghain has been declared the new regent. It makes sense. His daughter... That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. I heard from some travellers that something bad might have happened in Redcliffe, overrun by darkspawn, maybe. A merchant friend of mine said he encountered someone fleeing the place and there was nothing... That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Some folks aren't happy about Tyr Loghain being named regent. There are rumours. Isn't that the most ridiculous thing you ever heard? The darkspawn killed him, sure enough. If Tyr Loghain... That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. I hear the Dwarven King is passed on. Old as he was probably poisoned or assassinated. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow.
Goodbye.
Something you need? I hear tell they held a funeral in Denerim for King Caelan. The Grand Cleric called for a full day of mourning and there was a procession a mile long. It's too bad they don't have a body to properly bury. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. With King Caelan dead, the throne falls to Queen Honora. She's made her father the regent, however, at least for now. I think Caelan's father, old King Merrick, would have approved. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Thank the Maker we didn't lose Tyr Loghain at Ostagar. He put... That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. There's knights from Redcliffe spread all... More like... That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Something's going on at the Mage's tower. That's what I've heard on the road, and...
Goodbye.
You're a hard man to... Where are my manners? The name is Levy Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levy of the Coins? Levy the Trader? Really? He never told you of old Levy? We've known each other for years. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... Well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on, his pledge fulfilled. My family, well, past a bit checkered to see. Nobles look at us with disdain. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last Warden commander of Ferelden back when the Wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arland banished the Wardens, and he took House Dryden's land and titles. And then some. Not much is known about that time. After King Arland died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one. And our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride. I asked for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honour. Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Ireland's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honour. Darkspawn surfaced in southern Ferelden, and Duncan got plenty busy recruiting new wardens and meeting with good King Caelan. Duncan said he would help after the Battle of Ostergar. Said there might be useful things at the peak, but he never had the chance. I can pick my way through the tunnels at the base of Soldier's Peak, but the place, well, they say it's haunted, and it'll be dangerous for certain. Will you think on it at least? 1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Yes.
Indeed.
And here we are, Soldier's Peak. Maker's breath. Look at the size of her. What a fortress. I told you the map would get us through the tunnels. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. It came to me in my dreams. When I was a lad, I tried going through the tunnel by myself. Got horribly lost. But every now and again since, I've dreamt of it. I didn't want you to think I was some moon-addled simpleton. I've my wits about me, but enough of that. I'll follow you, from a distance. This place has the stench of death. I expect there's trouble up ahead.
Soldier's Peak. Looks like it's seen better days. Better centuries, more like.
Once the Wardens flourished, their ranks full, their caliber certain. Now they even accept people like you, Alistair.
Hey!
Fall back! Fall back already!
Taking the peak will not be easy, my lord.
I gave the Wardens one chance to die with honor. Instead, they hole up like cowards. We follow the King's advice, then. Starve them out.
But the peak has months of supplies.
Then we wait. When they are too weak to lift their weapons, we will send them to their final judgment.
What was that? Felt a bit woozy there. I'm not mad, am I? You saw it too? How's that possible? This place truly is haunted. Yes, Warden.
As you say.
Now we get our hands dirty.
As you say.